Okay, we're building this Craftsman style picture frame. For part 1 of the video, go to Laguna's website. Here in part 2, we're going to focus on applying the finish, matting, and installing the artwork. Our trusty shop dog Trooper's here to help, so stick around, we'll check it out. Okay, so now it's time to install some turn button hardware on the back of the picture frame to hold the glass and artwork in place. Quick tip for that, use one of these self-centering depth limiting bits, commonly used for installing hinge hardware, so that there's no chance you'll drill through the thickness of your stock. We'll need 2 of the turn buttons on each edge of the frame. Just use your hardware to gauge how far away the holes should be from the edge of the frame. We'll drill 2 of these on each side of the frame, and then we'll go ahead and move on to finishing. So these little lightweight turn button tabs work really nicely to hold the glass and artwork in place. And if your rabbet is a little deeper than your artwork, it's no problem. You just bend the tab down slightly and it retains it without rattles. This is what the turn button hardware looks like. They're just small thin tabs, and the hardware kit that I got was from a framing and craft store, and it even included small short length screws, perfect for the job. So we'll wipe on an oil-based stain. It's a really easy finish for this picture frame. After that dries, it'll be 2 coats of pre-catalyzed lacquer. So we'll stir up the can here and wipe on this easy oil-based finish. We'll start on the back side, and by the time we flip it over, I don't worry too much about any imperfections on the back side, but it is nice to get a coat of stain on before we flip it over. So it's really nice when the stain goes on and you start to see the contrast popping out between the white oak and the walnut. And it is a decision to be made for a project like this on the color of the stain. I usually don't want to go with a very dark stain if I'm doing contrasting woods because I think it kind of takes away from the contrast there. But something like this, a medium brown oil-based stain, does darken up and make the white oak look a little bit richer. But at the same time, you can still notice that nice contrast between the oak and the walnut. So we'll keep working this, and once the stain is dry, we'll do the 2 coats of lacquer. So we're going to be spraying a pre-catalyzed lacquer finish, 2 coats with a scuff sanding in between, on our Craftsman style picture frame. And probably the best advice I can give you for spraying lacquer is to stir the product thoroughly. There's ingredients in the lacquer that help control the sheen of the final finish, and you want to make sure that any of those solids are thoroughly mixed up into the lacquer. Today we're spraying a Duracat satin clear lacquer. This is a pre-catalyzed lacquer, and there's a lot of different products that would work. This is what we happen to be using today. Whenever you're spraying lacquer, protect your lungs by using cartridges in your respirator that are specifically approved for organic vapors. You don't need anything but an inexpensive gravity feed cup gun to spray finishes. But a very important point is that anything that goes into the cup of the gun, whether it be your lacquer material or lacquer thinner, it should be filtered before it goes into the cup. Even these metal cans, they appear to be brand new and the product is clean, but you'll find sometimes there's rust or a little bit of metal in the bottom, and you don't want that getting into your spray rig to contaminate the finish. Always work in a well-ventilated area when you spray. I like to start with a quick shot on the underside of the frame. So we'll go ahead and pull the frame down off of our finishing points here, which are very helpful for spraying. Let's just do a little bit of scuff sanding. Just a light scuffing with anywhere from a 500-600 grit on up to 800 to 1,000 grit, depending on how your finish came out. Honestly, that's all it takes. That little section is done. Just a light scuff sanding, clean up any dust nibs, and get ready to lay on that second coat. Well, this is where it gets really fun in the framing process. We can go ahead and get our framed artwork here and get that situated on top of the freshly cleaned glass. And then just add a foam core piece of poster board backing or special made frame backing, available at most craft stores. And we'll go ahead and get the turn buttons in place. So we'll just add 2 turn buttons on each side of the frame to secure the artwork and backing in place, and we'll be all ready to hang this piece. Paul Lanquist makes a lot of great prints, and most of his work focuses on national historic sites and parks, and he does things with interest all over the states, and you're sure to find something that's of regional interest to you. Paul Lanquist is his name, and he has that distinctive PAL logo on his artwork. It's beautiful stuff. Okay, so that about wraps up this project. Remember to check the link in the description box below. That'll take you to Laguna's website, where you'll find part 1 of this video series, Craftsman style picture frame. Thanks for all your help, Trooper. Thanks for watching, guys.